The check you receive feels like closure, but it does not cover any of the headache. It doesn't cover any of the time, and it doesn't cover any of the hidden costs that are about to show up in the next several months. I've worked with homeowners who were excited to start their rebuild, almost feeling like it was the next natural chapter of their lives. And they ended up months past when the project was supposed to be done, over budget, and sometimes, many times, even living out of a hotel. Today, I want to walk you through exactly why that happens and what your alternative is. My name is Louis Swan, and I work in the fire damage space. I've been featured on AOL and Martha Stewart talking about these exact topics. I help homeowners rebuild their lives and understand all their options, myself and our company. This is exactly what our mission is, so that you don't go down these same paths without understanding all of your options and what those options look like. If you're in the middle of deciding whether to rebuild or to sell as is, this video is exactly for you. So let's start here, okay? Insurance covers the damage, but it does not cover the headache, okay? That check represents a dollar figure. It does not represent your time, your stress, or the months you're going to spend managing the project that you honestly never imagined or wanted to manage in the first place, right? As you can see on this slide, there's a real gap between what your check says and what rebuilding actually costs you, okay? So let's break down where that gap is coming from. The first piece of that trap is time. Permitting alone can take weeks to months depending on your city, okay? Then you need a contractor, a good fire restoration contractor who's not just, sitting around waiting for your call, right? These are specialists. These are specific specialists that are typically the ones that are booked out, okay? Then there's the material shortages. There's specialized materials needed for fire and smoke remediation that aren't always just sitting on the shelves. All right. Now, as you can see on this slide, what feels like it should take 3 months can stretch to a year, if not longer. All right. Every month you're not in your home is a month of additional living expenses eating into your settlement. Now, the second piece of hidden costs, this is where the math really starts to fall apart. Let's talk about ACV versus RCV, all right? Actual cash value versus replacement cost. I covered this before, but here's the part most homeowners miss. Your policy may pay replacement costs, okay? But insurance companies typically issue that money in two parts. You get the ACV portion up front, and the rest, the depreciation holdback, does not get released until the work is done and verified. So you need to fund a chunk of your rebuild out of your pocket or with financing, if that's the route you want to take, before you ever see that second check. Now, add code upgrades, right? If your home is older, okay, your city may require your rebuild to meet current building code expectations, right? The wiring, the insulation, fire suppression standards that didn't exist when your home was originally built. All right. Now, insurance often does not fully cover those upgrades. So that's money you're paying that has nothing to do with the fire itself. And then there's what you can't see, right? Smoke and soot just sit on the surface. They get into the insulation, the ductwork, the framing. Water from the firefighter efforts seeps deep into places that don't show damage until mold starts growing weeks later. So as you can see on this slide, deductibles, temporary housing, overages, code upgrades, and unseen damages, they all stack up on top of each other. Each one alone seems manageable, but together, that's where projects turn into, from a 6-month rebuild into an 18-month financial strain. Now, the third piece of the trap, and it's one that people talk about least in the beginning, but a lot of our clients, when they're 3/4 the way through or halfway through or a quarter of the way through and they come back and want to sell as is, this is the main reason why. And I can tell you from working with over 70 homeowners, I can tell you this is the biggest reason, which is the emotional toll, right? You're not just managing a renovation. but you're managing a renovation while displaced from your home, right? You're dealing with insurance calls while trying to hold your family together. That stress has a cost to it, even if it's not one you can put into a spreadsheet. So this slide here is the most important slide. It's the shortest slide. There's not that many words. There's not that many graphics, but this is the reason 9 times out of 10 why homeowners call us every day and our clients say, please, 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 please just take us out of this situation. We just want to move on with our lives. How can you help us with an as-is offer? We just want to move on. There's no price you can put on our mental and our emotional health. So here's a question I want you to actually sit with. Does rebuilding make sense for you? For some people, the answer is yes, and that's completely a valid path. But for others, there's an alternative most homeowners don't realize exists, which is selling as is, okay? As you can see on this slide, here's what that actually means. Speed. Instead of months or years, a sale like this can close in days to weeks. Simplicity. No contractors, right? No permits, no managing subcontractors from a hotel, right? Certainty. A cash offer means you know exactly what you're getting. No waiting for a depreciation holdback. No fighting over cool upgrades, period. Peace of mind. You get to focus on your family's recovery instead of becoming a part-time general contractor. I do this specifically with fire damaged homes. My team and I, we understand the real cost and the real timeline of a rebuild, including everything we just walked through, right? So, we can make a fair offer quickly without you having to manage any of it, right? Now, I'm not saying this is the right move for everyone, but it's an option almost nobody tells homeowners about, right? You deserve to know it exists before you commit to a year-long, if not longer, rebuild process. Let me give you one quick example, all right? I work with and this is just an anonymized example. I work with a homeowner who had a fire, go through about a third of their home, right? They started the rebuild process, excited, got their ACV check, lined up a contractor and started planning. 3 months into the project, they discovered the depreciation holdback wouldn't be released until final inspection. So 4 months in, the contractor hit a permitting delay, right? By month 7, they were still in a hotel and the ALE coverage was running close to its limit. They were paying out of pocket to keep things moving. When they came to us, the relief was immediate. We agreed on a fair cash price for the property as is, and we closed in under 3 weeks, okay? No permits, no more contractor calls, no more uncertainty, right? That's the kind of outcome we want every homeowner to know is possible when you're watching this, all right? So, like I said, I just want to run you through a hypothetical example. However, this is a very real example, except one thing. Typically, when our clients come to us, their ALE is not about to run out. It's usually run out, and they're usually paying out of pocket. Okay, so these are real people's lives, and if you're watching this and you're in this situation, or you know someone in this situation, like I said, our goal and my goal on this channel specifically is to educate you so you know your options. What you decide to do at the end of the day is up to you. But what we hate to see is people end up in situations that could have been prevented, right? So really digest this information, and I truly hope it's helping you guys out. So if you're sitting on an insurance check right now, trying to figure out what your next move is, I want you to make that decision with full information, right? Not just the information your insurance company or contractor gives you. If you want to talk through your specific situation, what rebuilding may look like, and cost you, what selling as is could look like, right? Please reach out to us. Check out my link in the bio. I'll offer a free quick consultation. I'll connect you with our companies, Fire Cash Buyer, House Fire Solution. This is no pressure, no obligation, just real conversations about your options, right? On side note, if you're a fellow investor or a professional in this space, subscribe as well. We love to work with you to help bring our clients as much value as possible. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I'm dedicating the next months, years to this channel, to giving you guys as much, information as possible. Check out our company links in the description. We do this every day. We work with clients every day. I'm about to make a call right now, actually with a client on their way to their insurance company who has unfortunately been playing games, and we're trying to help them not end up homeless by within 7 days from now, right? So we do this all the time. I hope you guys love this content. And if there's any topics that you need to know about as quickly as possible, put it in the comments. I promise to make a video on it ASAP, all right? Thank you so much for watching. Talk to you soon.